Welcome to My Amber Cottage. I'm Keely, wife, mom to 3 girls, and a former ER nurse. We have just moved from San Diego to the Dallas area. In this video, I share why I chose full-time homemaking over nursing, how we're creating a cozy life in our new build home, and what to expect on this channel. From scratch meals, realistic routines, functional fitness, daily nature time, and monthly RV adventures, all while we save for an exciting future. I'm shifting my family to a more simple, budget-conscious way of life and making it cozy along the way. If this sounds good to you, I want my channel to be your first stop. Subscribe for 1 to 2 videos per week. Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel. I'm Keely. Like you saw in the very first part of my video, going through a lot of changes in my life and in the life of my family. And one of the major changes is moving from California to Texas, and also my role as a full-time homemaker in the house. This is all new to me. Previously, I worked full-time as a nurse. I was in the ER for over a decade, and that was my identity. So we could go pretty deep here. There's all kinds of things to unravel with major changes like that. There's good, there's bad, the expected and the unexpected. But I think the number one thing that I want to hit on here today while we're hanging out, grab a cup of coffee if you want. I've already had way too many today, I think, but that's the norm. The number one reason I decided to switch from full-time work outside the home to full-time homemaker is that I always wanted to do it. Initially, when we started having babies, there was always that pull, and I worked for a really good hospital. It was a magnet hospital for nursing, which means it's like the best place to be a nurse. You have a lot of autonomy. You're working with your physicians. I could have these long maternity leaves, which was wonderful. And, each time going back was always really hard, but it wasn't until the last few years that I felt this pull inside, or maybe it's this realization, time is ticking and it's ticking faster and faster. I think I didn't even realize that was so much of a factor until we actually flew to Dallas to look at houses, and we had this great heart-to-heart in our hotel room. I think a lot of couples probably have these, and I often remember many of ours throughout the years, because for us it usually marks a point in time where we're about to make a big change. I remember, telling him that I felt like I was slipping away from my oldest daughter, who is 8. That the connection was being lost, and that was like the number one reason why I wanted to make the move from California to Texas and move into more of a full-time homemaker, stay-at-home mom role for at least a little while. The variety of paths you can go down because of nursing is amazing. I'm a homebody, a creature of habit. So I stuck with the ER. I loved it. And it took a move to knock me off that course. So the second reason, which connects the first and the third and all of that, but like I'm alluding to, life suddenly changed. My husband got this crazy job offer in Dallas. It was a really cool opportunity for him. Although we absolutely loved California. We were there for over 16 years. This kind of shined for both of us, and it gave the opportunity for financially, because we're moving to a lower cost of living from California to Texas, financially for me to be at home. And it gave the opportunity for him to try out this new endeavor, this new chance with work to really go after something that he felt like once he had knowledge of it, he felt like if he didn't go for it, he would regret it. And that was a fear I had. So sometimes you just have to leap. Not everything is going to be perfect. You might be leaping into something that's great and also leaving something else behind that is great. You know, that's the exciting part of life, and also the sad part, right? I don't think there's a perfect, is what I'm trying to say. With a big change like that, moving to the lower cost of living, financially, I could be home doing the thing I always wanted to do. And also, we had enough smarts to know that moving 5 people across the country from everything they've known, the people they've known, everything, the weather, all of the stuff was going to come with ups and downs. And my role would be to anchor. I was laughing because how naive to think that I would just go through this thing solidly and not feel at all. Kind of forgot that even though that was a good thing and I was excited, that there'd also be a grieving process as I learn this new identity, and I'm leaving this thing that has been a part of me for so long and that I absolutely cherished, this soul-giving role as a nurse. And I think that, like I said, I don't know if I'm done there. I think it changed me as a human. I don't know if other people's roles outside the home have done that, or if other nurses have felt that too, I'm sure. But it was a really unique place I was at, a really unique ER with wonderful people. And it's an emotional job, and a job that makes you look at your own life every shift, every hour, and forces you to give a lot. Which leads into the third reason why I left nursing for at least a little while to be a full-time homemaker and stay-at-home mom. And that's because across the board, I felt pretty burnt out. And I don't think that's something that I ever really wanted to admit or say out loud. And I feel like burnout is kind of this overused term now. It was with work, even though I loved the place. I was working at an ER that saw a lot of really sick cancer patients. And there's only so much I think you can see of that before you need a little bit of a break. Again, it's good because it makes you look at your own life, what you're doing, your habits, your relationships, but it can also twist things up in your head a little bit. And I started to kind of think that, hi honey, I'll be done soon, okay? I started to worry a lot about myself and everyone, more so than I probably should have been, just because of all of the things that I was seeing physically as a woman, in her early 40s. I was staying in shape, but those long hours with the disrupted sleep and, getting home later, getting up right away. I feel like my nervous system took a major hit, my physical health as well. As a mom, I felt like I wasn't bringing it. I wasn't bringing my A game there. And then on the other end, sometimes as a nurse, I did a good job of sort of leaving everything at the door when I would enter, but it was harder and harder to leave everything at the door when I entered my home. It became very clear to me, and again, I don't know that, sometimes I would admit it to like my husband. I also always want to be tough and play that role as well. And I'm very grateful that this move gave me the opportunity to take that break, to have some self-reflection and decide what is next. I think that, I keep saying this, I don't know if I'll go back to nursing. I don't know if it'll be in an ER again or a totally different role, or if I'll stay homemaker. But I want to document this time because it's a time of ups and downs. It's a time in a new place. It's a time where sometimes I feel like it's hard to find beauty when you're going through a little bit of grief of leaving a place and people you loved. But I want to make sure I find that beauty and document it. And I do want to inspire others to do the same that are making big life changes, whether it was by their own doing or not. It's sometimes a lonely place, but there is light and there are reasons. And I think that it can be a time period that shapes you into something new, and you should relish in that. Is it relish? Revel, relish. I don't know. This gave us the chance to reorganize roles, declutter roles, if you could say that, and make life feel more balanced and give time to think, slow down, and reconnect as a family, and make sure our kids know what that feels like. I think that's probably the number one thing. Everyone's hustling out there. Everybody's busy. And I understand that's part of life now, but something felt lost. And I believe that we're almost on the right track to figuring out how to find it.